Let's give them something to talk about. Let's give them something to talk about. How about love? What's up, y'all? This is Ty, and no, that ain't had nothing to do. That song has nothing to do with this video, but actually, maybe it does, because I'm here to talk about a movie that's about a talk show host. So, it kind of, see how I kind of did that? Y'all like how I kind of did that. But I'm here to talk about a movie that I just watched on Lifetime. And no, it's not Married to a Murderer or, Sleeping with Deceit. You know how Lifetime do. All their movies, or most of their movies, are a woman that's in distress. She's always married to a dentist who got bodies in the basement because he's a serial killer, or it's a cheerleader getting hurt. It's always some woman in distress. But no. This is a biopic, and it is the biopic about talk show host, radio personality, Wendy Williams. And it's called Wendy Williams, the movie. And we're also going to talk about her documentary, Wendy Williams, What a Mess. So yeah, see, I kind of did tie the song in the beginning into this. Okay, so before I do that, let me give a shout out to my people. June BLC, how you doing? Tia Divine, what's up? Penny, Simply Be Yourself 100, Lex Max. Let me see. I'm trying to think of some people. Y'all know all the people that be coming in. Well, the people that come in. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. And listen, hit that subscriber button, y'all. Come on, help a brother out. Yeah, I'm begging, right? I'm like one of those infomercials with just 15 cents a day. Just one click. Just click on it. Just click on it and subscribe. Just subscribe. Anyway, let's get right on down to this documentary. Let's do the movie. Let's talk about this movie and the documentary, Wendy Williams, the movie. So we know, listen, I'm from New York City. I'm very familiar with Wendy Williams. I'm about to date myself here. I remember when she was on the radio at Kiss FM and how she was like, at that time, it was a shock because you're not used to someone going on the air and just talking the way she did about celebrities and saying things that she did. And what I liked about the film, which I gotta say, I actually liked this movie. I thought I wasn't going to like it because some of the movies on Lifetime, some of the biopics, they'd be a little disappointing. But I actually enjoyed this. And Wendy Williams is being played by actress Sierra Payton. Now, if you follow my videos, you know that I reviewed Tyler Perry's The Oval. And I'm looking at this woman like, where I know her from? And then it clicked on me. That's Lily. That's Lily from The Oval. Doing a great job here as a Wendy Williams. So it starts off, it shows her early life, where she grew up in New Jersey. I think it was Ocean Township, New Jersey. And early on, we see why Wendy is the way she is. She comes from a beautiful middle-class family. But out the gate, they show that Wendy has issues, some self-esteem issues. And it's because her parents, Wendy, you're cute, but you're fat, you're fat, you're fat. Like, come on. They didn't mean any harm, but it was like you were making your daughter feel some kind of way because it was like immediately they're just on her about her weight. And we see her get humiliated at a birthday party when she's doing musical chairs and the chair breaks because she's fat. And, that kind of shows you why Wendy did some of the things that she does in her life. Because like I said, I'm from the area. So, I'm familiar with her on the radio when she came to New York. And what I like, the movie shows, and she talks about it, how her humble beginnings. She started out at, little local radio stations, but her dream was to get to New York City. And one thing I didn't know was that she actually worked for Kathy Hughes at one point at a station down in D.C. But even then, she wanted to get into New York City because that's the #1 market. And they show her doing, I think she had like a part-time job in New York, like a late shift or whatever, while she was doing the show in D.C. And what I liked about that was it was inspiring because it showed she had a goal, she had a dream, and she wasn't letting nothing step in her way, stand in her way, and she was focused. That's what I liked about that movie. It showed that she was focused and she was determined. She wanted to be in New York. She wanted to Beach, one of her idols was a radio personality, what's the lady's name? Carol Ford. And it was like she made her dreams come true. And that's what I liked about the movie, showing that she made her dreams come true. And of course, it was a mess because she did it. Wendy does it in a way that's different than others because she's like a shock jock. She's like one of those, she says what's on her mind. She's gossiping. She's not like, most radio personalities. They're friendly and they're nice to the guest or whatever. Not that she was mean to the guest, but she digs in her celebrity's business. Nobody was doing it like that. And I remember back at that time when I started listening to her on Kiss FM, and she would not just play the records and say something nice about the artist. She would go into their personal business and she would get low, like she would really get down and dirty. And this caused a backlash. A lot of the celebrities didn't like her. A lot of the black celebrities, especially, because that was the market. They didn't like her because she was airing their dirty laundry and allegations that they didn't want out there. So we see in the movie, we see all of that happening. We see how while she's in DC, she ends up getting fired from there. And there was something I learned about her that I did not know, and I was seeing all that she was raped by a singer, and in the movie they gave him some name that's not his actual real name, and I Googled him, and when I Googled him, I still didn't know who he was. Sherrick, something like that. I still didn't know who he was, and that was kind of sad to see her get date raped or whatever, and it was by some one-hit wonder. And then even in her documentary, she mentioned him. She never said his name, but she said, I'm not gonna give him no light. But I did my own little research, and I see that the guy is dead, and he's not here to tell his side of the story. But that was something I didn't know about her. That but it shows what shapes her, how she handles things. Something happens, she sucks it up, and she keeps on going. We also learned in this movie that she dated Eric B. from Eric B. and Rakim. Okay, so this whole Eric B. thing, I'm like, this is an example of when you laying it down. He must have been laying it down on her good, that she just was renting cars for him and just messing up her credit for this. You don't mess your credit up for nobody, y'all. Don't mess your credit up for nobody. But we know we all get there. We all been there when we've been sprung over somebody. But I was so surprised. I would have never guessed that her and Eric B. was together. But, I was young back then. How would I know? But anyway, she, mentions how, he pretty much was playing her, basically, laying the pipe and playing her, basically. So I kind of like, you kind of see right there, she's kind of like a little naive a little bit when it came to guys, it seemed, and a little vulnerable and just giving up things or whatever. So then she goes on from there to mention, she says, well, I'm not going to mention, they narrate this year. Apparently she was married to somebody else, but she said that wasn't worth it. She got married to someone before she married Kevin, but apparently that wasn't worth telling because that guy was just a rebound from what all she went through with Eric B, and him, messing up her credit and doing all this foolishness or whatever. And she was actually pregnant by him, but she lost a child too, which was sad. We see in this film her, finally getting that job in New York and the whole thing. She went to Kiss FM. And what I like, this is what I'm saying, what was inspiring to me. She was into Carol Ford. And look, she kind of manifested it. I'm big on stuff like that. She would sit in the lobby of Kiss FM studios, and finally she got her big break. Carol was on vacation or whatever, and she was allowed to go and fill in for her. And they liked her style because she was gossiping and talking about people. And then the radio program or whatever he was at the time said, we don't do that here, but you got a gift and we like that. We're going to find a spot for you. So they eventually found a spot for her. And then it was bringing back memories because then they brought up that whole the gay rapper thing. And some of y'all in my age group, y'all remember that. Like in the 90s, we didn't think of any rappers as gay. That wasn't like how you got, what's the young boy now? I'm gonna ride my horse in the old town road who's openly gay. They ain't do that in the 90s. All the rappers was, you didn't do that. We didn't have that. I'm not judging it. I'm saying nobody said they was openly gay. No, we didn't do that. And a rapper? Rappers was hard. They was from the streets. So I remember that. And so like the movie brought back some memories for me about when people were trying to guess who's the gay rapper and who's this. And she used to throw some names out there too. And that pissed a lot of people off. And she stayed coming at Puffy, P. Diddy. She stayed coming at him. She stayed coming at his artists. I mean, she just aired people's dirt. The talk show, she gossips on, but I'm telling y'all, when Wendy was on the radio, she would go in. And this would piss a lot of people off. And, I think from there, when she was on Kiss FM, she was more, to me, she was more tame on Kiss FM. But when they moved her from Kiss FM to Hot 97, because they were owned by the same company, Hot 97 was more hip hop. Kiss FM was like R&B-ish. So Hot 97 was a younger audience. So she really grew there, because then she got in there and she could really do all that mess. But like I said, she was pissing off people like Puffy, P. Diddy. And so we see, they touched on it in the movie. They show where basically they couldn't fire her because she was under contract. But what they did is they took her off the air, and she was under contract. They said, listen, we're not going to fire you so you can go to the competition. No, in the same state. So, and we have a contract. So she could not. And I remember this. And I remember it was like, oh, P. Diddy got Puffy. We call him Puffy got Wendy kicked off Hot 97. I remember all of that. And she kind of disappeared from New York. But see, she ended up going to Philly. And see, her contract says she cannot do anything in New York, but she could definitely do it in Philly. So she went down to Philly. And of course, she started a whole mess there. And then while in Philly, we learned that she had those miscarriages, trying to have a baby. And I thought that was very sad. And, as a parent, I can't imagine going through that with my wife, well, at the time, because I'm divorced, but at the time I was married. And I can't imagine, when we had our kids, that pain of losing a kid. And see, I like this. It didn't show Kevin as a total jerk, because he was kind of ride or die for Wendy too. He was ride or die. He was there for her as well. Through some of the hard times, he was there. But I think that took a strain on their marriage too. But he was still a bit of a jerk too. He was a jerk, not a bit of a jerk. He was a jerk. But I think what had her was she always felt protected by him. That's what I got from the movie, that she was protected by him. But homeboy was tipping and dipping and cheating. And, when finally she's able to have a baby, homeboy was still cheating. He was cheating on her right after she had the baby. She's finding things out. But he would play those mind games on her. And he had this thing, everything I do for you. Like he was playing in her head, everything I do for you. Listen, girl. Yeah, but she's the talent. It's her talent. And if you think about it, she kind of built her career herself and paid her. But, he kind of had that muscle that she needed too. Because like I said, she was controversial. So every week, somebody was trying to come up to that station. They didn't say that in the movie, but I remember people hated her. Like celebrities hated her. They were always coming at her, these rappers and stuff, because she was doing stuff that was unheard of at that time. Like now you got a whole bunch of people that just get on the radio or the bloggers and they say what they want to say. At that time, it wasn't really like that. So they show in the movie that the group Total, can't you see what you do to me? Our love was meant to be. Y'all remember that? You were made for me. That was my jam right there. Okay, anyway, Total came up to the radio station ready to beat Wendy down, and she didn't have no protection. And here comes Kevin. So you see, that's how she found this guy who was like her hood, ghetto, knight in shining armor. And that's, I think that's what the attraction was. That's how she liked him and fell in love with him. And like I said, that's what happened right there. But now they focused, they showed the cheating part, and where he was breaking her sister down. This dude had his own condo over here. You married, you got a condo over here. You got the hole over here laying up with, I shouldn't call her a hole, but the side piece. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you a hole. The side piece over here, you doing all kinds of mess. But Willie, when it really got crazy was homeboy had her out in Florida, flaunting her around, chilling with her. But it got worse. This is when I said, now you ain't about it. You ain't about ish, man. How you going to have your mistress, what was it, 9 miles away from where you live? You trying to see, he had two households. Two houses, and this is where it gets ugly. Yeah, he's the manager, but technically, this is Wendy's money. So you took her money, set your mistress up down the street, because let's be real, she ain't that far. Down the street, hooked her up. Can you imagine how that feels? Can you imagine how humiliating that is? Hook this young tenderoni up, got her in her own house. The house is looking good, and then they show the scene where Wendy goes to that house and she spray paints and she's looking around and she's pissed off, and rightfully so. I was like, Dad, that's some low stuff right there. And just when you think it can get lower, it gets lower. When she confronts him, he's like, baby, listen. Then he has the nerve to throw it back on you. You have the problem. It's you. Yeah, I cheated, but you. And somehow he convinces her to go into the rehab program. This is the part that, I mean, we knew some of this, but this was like, I was like, wow. Not only is he tipping and dipping, it's you financing it with her money, basically. She's the talent. It's her money. You're just the muscle. I'm not, he was a good manager, you could say, because he negotiated things for her as well. But apparently the staff hated him. Her staff hated him. He was aggressive. He was crazy or whatever. Or a little out there. But then, dude, this is the part. You put her in a, what do they call it? The little rehab house out in Queens, no walls, making her crazy, making her go crazy. No phone access, so she don't know what's going on. Try to keep her from the bloggers and the news outlets while you out here playing house with the next chick. Your son is college age. The son is in, I think they said he was in Florida. So I'm sure he's seen the tabloids and the blog. You got mama over here going crazy. His mother's in getting rehab and all that. And you tipping and dipping with this chick. And then he got her pregnant. And, we saw all that because that was all on the headlines. Now, the thing is, she can't be really too mad that her business is out there, because this is what she does for a living, to put people's business out there. So it's kind of like a little bit of karma, or a lot of karma happening for her. But it was crazy to me. And I'm like, wow, this is just crazy. And the movie was good. I enjoyed the movie because for me, like I said, I was inspired by her, just how she went after her career. Then I was fascinated, or just like, wow, with what was going on behind the scenes, and how she, every time something happened, she just suck it up and get back on the air and do what she had to do. They even showed when she collapsed that Halloween, they showed that, and she just sucked it up and just kept it moving. But finally, as we know, she divorced him, and she was smart about that. She divorced him, got her stuff situated, and I thought the movie was good. Now let's go on to the documentary called What a Mess. And I love that title because her life was kind of getting messy there. In the documentary, she speaks on things in more detail. And I mean, we pretty much knew most of the stuff, but what I assessed from the documentary, Wendy still needs a little bit of therapy, because I mean, she was just, every other scene, she's crying. This man hurt her to the core. She mentioned how they first met. She was crying about that. She was crying about, listen, you got this girl. I ain't mad with the girl, but I'm over here. You making me look like I'm crazy and this addict and all that. My show is going, I might be in jeopardy of losing my show and all of this. And, the documentary showed her parents and their side of the story. And it also went back to showing how things are affecting her. She still needs this. She needs some therapy to get some of this out. because she's still that little girl that the parents call fat. That still bothers her. That's why she had all the plastic surgery and the lipo and them big breasts that's a little too big. And that's why she does all that stuff to make herself feel good. She needs some therapy. She needs some therapy to handle those little things, those inner things, those core things. But I think she uses the show as her therapy. But I think she needs to, my opinion, I think she needs to get some actual therapy. And just like he just was like dogging this chick out, like he dogged Wendy out. But I noticed, did y'all notice in the documentary? She cried so much for everything. And I'm not judging her, but I'm saying this stuff still hurts. She loved this man and she trusted this man. And she felt like, listen, like she even said when she collapsed and he came running to help her, she was like, okay, maybe my marriage can work. Maybe this will work. It's not going to work. The dude was cheating, double life, trying to have 2 families and all that. Just can you imagine how that feels? That would have pissed me off too. But just look at her strength. I admire her strength too, because she would try to suck it up and keep the show. The show must go on. The show must go on. But in the beginning, she was a little bit in denial, because I remember that episode where she got up there and was like, I ain't going nowhere. My marriage is good. Lying, fronting. Meanwhile, he tipping and dipping, got the girl pregnant. And I think that's what just broke her right there. You got this chick pregnant? Oh, no, you made a family on me? Nah, this is done. You made another family? She like, nah, this is done. So I like this. I like both the movie and the documentary. And, I mean, she aired all this stuff out. It was really good. It was really, really good. Like I said, some of the stuff, some of the stuff was just so good. She aired things out and she expressed herself. I like how candid she is with things and how honest she is, and even how vulnerable she is. She cries. I ain't telling y'all all my business on no TV and all that. She was telling her business, and that's just who she is. I think that's why she's so enduring to so many people, because she tells her business too. Well, now she's starting to tell it, but in the beginning, I mean, when her scandal was coming out, it was like she was trying to hide from it, but then she had to get in ahead of it. And that's when she mentioned that she was in the safe house, or whatever they call it, the house where she had to get herself together. She mentioned that. She admitted to being in there. And she's like, but I believe, this is what I think. I think he was trying to make old girl go crazy up in that rehab thing, while he just keep having fun, and that eventually would have broke her down even more. So I'm glad she got away and was able to break away from that. But you could tell that she's still in pain, in my opinion. She still seems to be in pain to me, because she was doing all that crying, and she's hurt, which is rightfully so. She's hurt. But I'm wishing her the best. I enjoyed the documentary and the movie. I don't want to ramble. I think this is enough. You guys tell me your thoughts. Did you like the movie? Do you like Wendy Williams? Did you like the movie? Did you like the documentary? Let me know. Thank you for watching. Come on, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. Come on, I love comments. Let's talk about this. And I will see you all in the next video. You be blessed.